This is level K, list 5, and we're doing the day 1 page. So have a highlighter ready so we can highlight the sound in these first few words as we go. So here we're looking at a different way of writing the air sound. So we've already learnt A-I-R as in hair, and you've already learnt A-R-E as in bear. Now we're learning the E-A-R, also makes the air sound. So we've got bear, pair, tear, wear. And then we're going to change colours and we'll go to the silent G in these ones. So we've got sign, design, assign, nat, gnome and gnarly. So choose another colour and we'll go back and highlight the N that's following the G in all these words. So we've got sign, there's an N after that silent G in each of these words. So you know we could have KN, and K would be the silent letter quite often before an N. The G before the N as a silent letter isn't as common as the KN. So we couldn't find even 10 words with GN in them that you would commonly use. So we've only found 6 for you. So let's have a look at these words, what they mean. Just before we do, let's get another colour and have a look at this LY at the end of a word there, not LEY, it's just LY. We've got the E making that O make a long sound. We've got a double S here, which means that A is making a short sound. Long E sound here, and nothing else in those ones. Right, so what do these words mean? Well, this bear means an animal. It could be a koala bear, a panda bear, a big brown bear. There's all sorts of different types of bears. And the bear you learnt before is when you have bare feet, when something's not covered. So we could have bear like that, or we could write it like this, but they mean different things. They sound the same, but they're spelt differently. Now this pear is a fruit that you can eat. The other pear is when you have 2 of something. So you might have a pair of shoes, a pair of glasses, etc. They're spelt differently. This pear is using the A-I-R for the air sound. This one, we know then when we're reading it that this is the one you eat. So it's easy to tell what their meaning is because they're spelt differently. Now tear here could mean to rip a piece of paper. You could have also have, say, tear. So you'd have to think about what you're reading. Both words look the same, but they're making a different sound. So tear, tear. So we're getting that different sound happening there. So you really have to think about the context of what you're reading, which would make more sense, to tear a piece of paper, and this would be the tear that falls from your eye when you cry. Wear is when you put on clothes to wear or shoes. You could also have like, where are you going? So here you would know, if you say this where there's no air after the W, so there's no H, whereas when you say this one, where, you can feel the air after the W, so you know to put the H in there. Now down here we've got sign. So a sign could be something that people put up to warn us or make us aware of something, or to tell us to do something. And it can also mean to sign your name on something, to give your approval or your permission on something. Design is to plan and present something. So this is a nice little drawing that's been planned. Someone's drawn it and then they've presented it for someone to use for perhaps a piece of artwork or something. Assign is when your teacher gives you homework to do. They're assigning you a job to do. A gnat is like an insect. It looks to me a little bit like a cross between a mosquito and a fly, because it has the wings of like a mosquito, but it has the body, a bit fatter body, more like a fly. A gnome is a little statue or ornament that you might see in people's gardens. They look like a little gnome. Gnarly means knotty, so you might see a tree that has lots of knots in it, and sometimes you'll see in an old person's hands that they're quite knotty with veins and bumpy joints. Okay, let's read these words now, sound them, spell them and write them. So get your little bit of paper to cover with, and off we go. So we're going bear, b-air, 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 B-E-A-R, B-E-A-R, B-E-A-R. Cover it and write it. And then go back and check that you've written it correctly. Now let's do one of these ones here with a silent G. Now sign is quite an interesting word too that we should probably discuss. It came from the word signal. So we had the word signal first, so you could hear that G, but when they needed a shorter version to indicate where we've used signage, they dropped the AL at the end of it, and which forced the G into becoming silent because it was too hard to say the word with the G in there. So let's try sounding it, spelling it and writing it. So we're going to go S-I-N, 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 S-I-G-N, S-I-G-N, S-I-G-N. Cover it. S-I-G-N, S-I-G-N, S-I-G-N. So if you get stuck on that one, just remember it comes from the word signal, and you can hear that G in there, and that might remind you to pop that G in. This is level K, list 5, and we're doing the day 2, and our words are bear, pear, tear, wear, and we're using the E-A-R for the air sound in all of those words. Then we're going on to the silent G in sign, design, assign, nat, gnome and gnarly. So you've already learnt these other air sounds where we write A-I-R for the air sound and A-R-E. Now this is the next one, E-A-R. So we have different ways of writing air in words. So this bear means like a big brown bear. It's an animal. We've already learnt bear with the A-R-E meaning not covered or uncovered, but we know this one's the animal one. Pear, this pear means the fruit you eat. If you spelt it with the A-I-R, that would be two of something, like a pair of shoes or a pair of glasses, etc. This one is tear, which means tear a piece of paper. If you pronounced it with the long E sound, it would be tear, like when you have water coming from your eyes. But in this set of words, we're using the air sound. Wear, this means when you put clothes on to go out, you wear something or you wear shoes. Now the other wear, which you will learn to write to, is where, like the place that you're going to. Now remember, sign comes originally from the word signal, and that's how we get that G in there. So we can't say sig. So to make it easier to say, they just changed it to sign. But if you remember that it comes from the word signal, it'll help you to remember that that G should be in there. So then you've got sign, design, assign, nat, gnome and gnarly. So sign is where it gives us directions for something, or it tells us something, tells us some information that we might need. Design is to plan and present something. Assign is when you give someone some work to do. A gnat is like a little insect. A gnome is probably the most common thing we see today, is a little statue in a garden of a little person, like a little dwarf. Gnarly means knotty, so it could be a knotty tree or a knotty hand. So just have a look too. In design, you've got the E there making that long vowel sign. This in assign, this A is making a short sound because we have two S's after it. In gnome, you've got the E at the end making that O make a long sound. In gnarly, you've also got the AR, making the R sound, and the Y on the end is the most common way of writing the long E sound at the end of a multisyllabic word. It's got more than one part, gnarly. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell them and write them. So we've got bear, B-E-A-R, B-E-A-R. You just need to cover it and write it. Check if you've spelt it correctly, and if you have, move on to the next one. Rewrite the list word, then match to its meaning. So you just have to rewrite it here and then draw a line to its meaning. So a gnat is a small two-winged insect, yes. Write the correct words down here. So you've got bear, bear, where, and pear, pear. So we've already discussed what they all mean. So you can read those sentences and fill in the correct word. Down the bottom it says fill in the correct word again, and here you've got tear and tears. So just be careful because it's the same spelling, but we're getting different sounds here. So the girl had something in her eyes when the teacher wanted to something up her work. So you can work out which ones go where down there. This is level K, list 5, and we're doing the day 3. Here we're looking at EAR as the air sound in bear, pear, tear, and where. And we're looking at the silent G in sign, design, assign, gnat, gnome, and gnarly. Now, if you have a look at that silent G, it's coming before an N, so you might like to highlight the EAR, the silent G, and then go back and highlight the N. That quite often we use a silent G before an N. So in the other things we've got in these words, if we change colours again, we've got the word sign, remember, comes from the word signal. We had that word first and then we went to the word sign, so it's too hard to say sign, so we dropped that in G into a silent letter. Design, you've got the long E sound here. Assign, you've got a short there, so that's why we've got the double S there. Design, you've got a long sound, so that's why you've only got the one S there. Gnat, it's a very simple, easy word. Gnome, you've got the E making the previous vowel make its long sound, and ly indicates that that's an adverb to describe something that is knotty. Now the AR there is making the R sound like in car. Okay, so let's have a look then at the verb families. So in the first column, you know you've got the base word. In the second column, you're adding the S. In the next column, you're adding the ing. And in the final column, you usually add ed for past tense. But we've got 2 alerts here. So if you go sign, sign, signing, signed, that's easy. Designs, designing, designed, yes, that's easy. Tear, tears, tearing. We don't say teared the paper, we say tore the paper. Wear, wears, wearing. We don't say he weared his uniform to school, we say he wore his uniform to school. So these are irregular past tense verbs, and you're not going to add the ed to these last 2, you're going to change the spelling completely. There's a little hint down here as to how you would do that. Now then you have to write the correct word in the sentence. So we've got he wore his uniform to school. You have to decide which is the correct spelling there, highlight the one that's correct, and then write it in the space. He fought in the war, which is the correct spelling for the word war here. You could highlight it, which one of those says war as in fighting, and then write the word. He tore the paper, so you've got to put the right tore in here. Now if you have a look at these, this war comes from the word where you're putting clothes on, it's past tense of wear, whereas this war here means fighting. Tore means when it's past tense of the word tear, and this tore is like a little pebble or something special, or a marble or something you can use when you're playing marbles or hopscotch. So you can fill in those missing words and rewrite the sentence using the correct tense for the list word. Now you'll need a highlighter here to highlight the incorrect word, the verb that has the wrong tense. So she wear her new dress to the party. So it shouldn't be she wear her new dress to the party, it should be she wore her new dress to the party. So you have to highlight the incorrect verb tense and then write the sentence correctly with the verb in its correct tense. He tear his shirt at sport. Once again, work out which is the incorrect tense for the verb, highlighter, and then write the sentence correctly with the correct verb tense for the verb that you're writing. My mum signed my homework. Find the verb that's wrong and change the tense so it sounds better, sounds correct. Make new words and use them in sentences. So we've got assignment. So assignment will be the word, signature, signature, signal, signal, and then we want a sentence for each of those new words written. This is level K, list 5, and we're doing the day 4. And here we're doing some report writing. So what we're going to do is find some information on some bears. You can choose whichever bear you would like. So you're going to present your information about a bear. You're going to have an introduction. So introduce the type of bear and what group of animals it belongs to and why you chose this type of bear. The next part, you're going to describe its appearance, its behaviour and its habitat. Make sure you use sentences. And then the very last bit is your conclusion. Make an interesting comment about your bear. What makes your bear so special to other bears? So you're going to research, you're going to write it, and then you need to present it to your group.